Hello everyone, I'm Jack. In Hong Kong during the 1960s and 72nds, there was a chaotic time. During that period, the triads ran rampant, and police corruption was rampant. At that time, there were hundreds of gangs of all sizes. Among them, the most famous are the four big families. 14,000, San Yian, Yap Kwan, and Hue Wo. They established the legend of Hong Kong's triads. But among these four gangs, only Hue Wo is a truly local Hong Kong gang. Hue Wo originally belonged to the Wo Hop Tu, established in 1884. In 1930, Hue Wo separated to become an independent gang. It is currently the new mainstream faction of the Wo family. In the 1980s and 92nds, Hue Wo had nearly 100,000 members. Their main activities were in Hong Kong, as well as Western Europe, America, Southeast Asia, and other places. A top gang among the four big gangs. Due to the death of their boss, Ho, they gradually fell into decline. But Hue Wo can still stand alongside San Yian and 14,000 at the top in Hong Kong. However, in this top gang, Hue Wo, the boss and officials are elected by the elders. The position of the boss must be replaced after 2 years. This is also Hue Wo's gang rule, but such rules have led to infighting among the big shots of Hue Wo, fighting for the position of boss. Today, Du's a movie. To help everyone understand the story of the top gang, Hue Wo, let everyone know what a real triad is. Joining a gang is just about making a living, but greed knows no bounds. Several uncles from the He Shenghe are being discussed by the big bosses. They are discussing the election for the next boss and officials. Some support Big D, while others support Allah. Big D had a lot of power at the time and many followers. Allah was well liked and loyal. He also took good care of his brothers, but had little power. His territory was always at a disadvantage. With the judge's opinion, Allah had no chance. Soon after, the police arrived, definitely monitoring the movements of the He Shenghe. Thus, they raided the meeting, trying to show their strength. Among the younger members of the gang, Jesus was the first to show up. This person spoke smoothly, negotiating with the police, showing his legal knowledge. He hoped to wear a hood because he valued his image. In contrast, the uncles of the big bosses were quite submissive and obedient. They were all taken away by the police. On the other side, on a fishing boat, Big D took advantage of his power, arrogantly throwing money at the fishing boss, demanding him to support him. In jest, he did not forget to show off. He told the fishing boss's men to back off. However, the young man had no fear, standing his ground. At this point, Big D became frustrated and left. Meanwhile, under a thatched roof, Allah started to persuade for the position of the boss. After all, he lacked strength. So he tried to offer empty promises, hoping that after rising to power, his brothers would benefit. But the gang members ignored his talk, turning their faces to speak to him. They directly told him that they had already cooperated with Big D. He directly told him that he already had a partnership with Big D. If they lose this vote, Allah shouldn't even think about it. Meanwhile, at the police station, the long-standing anti-triad unit was starting to see the reality. Triads cannot be completely eradicated. As long as there is stability and prosperity, no trouble or complaints is enough. He said that the triads' election methods were 100 years ahead of Hong Kong's chief executive elections. As long as they keep quiet and don't cause trouble, they can turn a blind eye. On the other side, at the tea house, the secretive figure made an appearance. He was doing better than his boss, Guan Zai-sen, by running a brothel. At this time, his boss was losing a lot of money gambling. Boldly, he even took money meant for his older brother, Long Zhen, from Big D. He completely inherited his brother Long Zhen's habits of indulgence. Along the way, he also got involved with contraband. Due to the small amount of money coming in, big brother Long Zhen was extremely unhappy. He felt that Big D was encroaching on his territory and was very angry. Later, at the home of the senior elder, Deng Bo, the former triad leaders gathered together. They discussed who would be the new leader. Those who eat from others' hands often speak softly and act lightly. Most of those who took money supported Big D. Only 2 or 3 supported Allah. From the opposition to Big D, it was clear that Big D treated his brothers well, but he was unfair in his dealings and lacked moral standing. In the end, the senior elder Deng Bo made the final decision. Based on the principle of maintaining balance within the gang, he chose Allah. Deng Bo was a triad leader since 1970. He is currently the highest-ranking elder. Actually, Deng Bo also had another consideration. Big D was arrogant and hard to control. He might dominate and cause chaos. This could threaten the gang. Allah, on the other hand, was thoughtful, humble, and low-key. He had good relationships, was weak in power, and wouldn't easily stir up trouble. Meanwhile, Big D was determined to succeed. He felt that taking the leader's position would be a piece of cake. He was ordering new suits and planning a celebration feast. Allah remained calm. After all, he lacked the experience and the money to buy people's loyalty. He could only wait for the outcome and go home to have dinner with his son. What he didn't expect was that he would become the leader, which made him very happy. Meanwhile, Big D felt deceived. He lost his chance and was left empty-handed. The celebration feast became a joke, and the money spent went down the drain. In his humiliation and rage, he dared not directly challenge the senior elder Deng Bo, so he targeted easier prey. Long Zhen and Guan Zai-sen became scapegoats. They were then kidnapped and locked in a wooden crate. On the other side, after receiving the news, the secretive figure rushed out of the classroom. Now that Allah had become the leader, it was all thanks to Deng Bo's direct support. Although Allah had become the leader, Deng Bo's intention was that Allah must obtain the gang's token, the dragon head stick, to truly be the boss. Where was the dragon head stick? In the hands of the former leader, Kui Ji. Kui Ji was a puppet raised by Big D. Big D ordered Kui Ji to hand over the dragon head stick, and commanded him to openly challenge Deng Bo. Meanwhile, Long Zhen and Guan Zai-sen were suffering by the cliff. They were thrown over the edge and rolled back down. At this time, Kui Ji could only follow Big D's orders. He calls Deng Bo not to hand over the Long Tudden, nor to support Allah as the fossil man. Meanwhile, the secret of the missing person, led by the elder Huo Niu, found the fossil man Allah, to let him uphold justice. However, Dadi gives no face to Allah at all. The secret was very angry after learning this, and wanted to settle it himself. On the other hand, Kui Ji also did not want to give the Long Tudden to Dadi, so he arranged for his subordinate, Xian Ming, to hide the Long Tudden in Guangzhou. On the way, Kuiji also encountered the battered Long Zhen and Guan Zai Senral. By evening, Deng Bo and two elders were discussing the power struggle between Da Di and Allah. The two paid elders leaned towards Da Di, but Deng Bo still insisted on the principle that there must not be a re-election. Everything must be done according to the rules. At this time, after receiving the news, the police immediately acted, citing social reasons. They detained 3 elders associated with He Shenghe. Even Allah, who was having dinner at home, was not spared. At this moment in the restaurant, Da Di was demanding Kuiji hand over the Long Tutton. Unfortunately, it had already been hidden in Guangzhou. Da Di was furious and wanted to kill Kuiji. Just then, the police arrived in time. They also took them all away, citing social reasons. However, Da Di was still quite arrogant. He was not afraid of the reporters and police, and still wanted to beat Kuiji. But as a result, Kuiji was knocked over by a car while arguing. Now, all the big bosses associated with He Shenghe have been sent to prison. However, they were not afraid. Then Allah met with the gang's lawyer. He arranged for a substitute to find the Long Tutton, and Da Di also had his wife find the Long Tutton. After that, after hearing the news, Huo Niu sought help from the regional boss, Gao Lao. Then Huo Niu's followers, Jesus and Gao Lao's subordinate, Da Tu, prepared to go to Guangzhou to retrieve the Long Tutton. On the other hand, Da Di's subordinate, Chang Mao, also set out to find the boss, Hai Ji. He sought help under the pretense of a small business. Then Hai Ji's subordinate, Dong Wanzi, set out for Guangzhou, and Kuiji's subordinate, Xian Ming, was captured by the local gang in Guangzhou. Jesus went to Guangzhou, offering money with both hands. In the end, the Long Tutton was obtained by Jesus and Da Tu. However, at this moment, the police in Guangzhou had already arrived. Da Tu fled with the Long Tutton. Jesus stayed behind to block them. However, the police unit recognized Jesus, because this police unit had previously worked undercover in Hong Kong with him. At that time, they were friends with Jesus. Then Jesus agreed to the police unit's plan to escape. On the other side, in the Hong Kong police station, the anti-triad group, Zhu Se, threatened Deng Bo with conviction. Whoever breaks the law will be arrested. Deng Bo contemptuously retaliated. The gang has hundreds of thousands of people. There isn't enough room in the prison. At this moment, Zhu Se felt disheartened like a defeated rooster. Then Deng Bo personally met with Da Di. From the conversation, he learned that Da Di wanted to take over, to create a new He Shenghe. This was a major crime against the gang. Deng Bo was somewhat angry. This also signified that Da Di would face the wrath of the entire gang. On the other side, Da Tu was preparing to rush to Hong Kong with the dragon head stick. He ended up encountering an ambush by Dong Wanzai. Although they were from the same gang, for the dragon head stick, Dong Wanzai had no choice but to fight fiercely. At that moment, in Hong Kong, the local bosses of He Shenghe were having a meeting. Now, the gang's opinions were unified. Everyone supported Allah in resisting Da Di. So now, Da Tu was suffering in vain. They had all received calls from each other's bosses. Now, they had actually become a group. Then Da Tu had no choice but to hand the dragon head stick over to Dong Wanzai. Let him take it away. Meanwhile, in the hospital, Kuiji, who was injured by a car, was preparing to turn against the gang and become a witness. He wanted to accuse Da Di. His actions were also a betrayal of the gang. Upon learning this, Da Di ordered his lawyer to take out Kuiji. Allah's order was the same. Eliminate the traitor, Kuiji. On the other side, Dong Wanzai handed the dragon head stick to the street guy Fei Ji. But Fei Ji encountered an ambush from Da Di's men. The boss, Huo Niu, was also kidnapped by Cheng Mao. On the street, Fei Ji fought against many. To protect the dragon head stick, he almost lost his life. Meanwhile, Ji Mi took advantage of the chaos and seized the dragon head stick for himself. On the other side, Allah sent someone to kill Kuiji's son. The lawyer threatened Kuiji on his behalf. It's best to remain silent forever. Having spent a lifetime in the underworld, Kuiji naturally knew what the outcome would be. So he angrily pulled out his medical equipment and committed suicide. Later, after Allah was released from prison, Ji Mi found Ali again to seek justice for Long Zhen and Guanzan Senral. Then Allah made a speech. The times have changed now. Everything is business. The so-called loyalty and righteousness are long outdated. Gu Huazai doesn't use his brain. He will always be Gu Huazai. In other words, those who are capable will succeed. By using coercion and temptation, he successfully obtained the dragon head stick from Ji Mai, and the younger generation of juniors, Dong Guanzai, Fei Yi, Da Tu, Shi Yi Su, Ji Mi, were all commanded by Allah to be his godsons. In fact, Allah's actions were to win over the younger generation. Soon, Da Di was released from prison as well. Allah personally went to welcome him. He also offered kind words to Da Di. After weighing the pros and cons, Da Di ultimately abandoned the idea of starting anew. The two joined forces. The gang's strength gradually expanded, and the two used schemes, assassinated another gang's fossil, the dinosaur. From then on, the Emperor and Alek dominated the killing ground. From this, we can see that Alek was previously weak in power, but not without capability. It was a matter of disregarding others. But the Emperor had great power, yet lacked vision. Later, within the ancestral hall, the boss of the He Shenghe region swore allegiance with 9 others. They pledged to break the gold and blue. They were initiated under the oath of Hongmen. Master Ye presided over the oath. He asked them, "Do you love brothers or gold?" They all claimed to love brothers. But who would believe this? After the oath, the police appeared with the prestige of Hongmen. Moreover, they were the key figures, which was quite surprising. In fact, Alek is a person of great power, currently biding his time. He tolerates the Emperor's equal status with him. But power is intoxicating. Once obtained, no one can taint it. Anyone who dares to overstep will certainly face severe consequences. Thus, Alek used fishing as an excuse to directly execute the Emperor, who threatened his position. Not even his woman could be spared. In the end, both were buried by Alek. In fact, compared to Alek, the Emperor's methods were harsher. When he killed other gang leaders in the bar, he was quite ruthless. But overall, he was not cold-blooded enough, lacking depth. He acted too flamboyantly, and lacked the ability to balance interests. On the other hand, Alek is skilled at utilizing people, seemingly peaceful, but is actually ruthless. As Alek once said, the old flower boys don't use their brains. They will always be old flower boys. The gang portrayed in the movie is modeled after the largest and most active triad organization in Hong Kong today, Hyun Wo. According to data released by the Hong Kong police in the 1970s, the membership of Hyun Wo had reached 200,000. It was undoubtedly the largest gang in Hong Kong. In the movie, the several marked prototype characters are all big bosses that appeared in Hyun Wo. The story content of the film is also based on real events. In reality, the rise of minor characters is indeed true. The prototype of Alec, played by Simon Yam in the movie, was an official of Hume Wo from 1996 to 1998. Nicknamed Chicken Feet Black, real name Zhao Guoqiang. The prototype of the character, played by Louis Koo, was an official from 1998 to 2000. Nicknamed Shanghai Boy, real name Guo Yonghong. You can search online if anyone wants to learn more information. The movie, Triad, was released in 2005. It was produced by Johnny Tu, starring Simon Yam, Tony Leung Ka-fai, Louis Koo, Daniel Wu, and Lam Suet, among others. This movie also has a sequel, Triad 2, titled Triad 2, The Price of Honor. In the next episode, Jack will continue to delve deeper. Jack will use simple language to help everyone understand more truths. Special statement. This movie is based on real events, but parts of the content are fictional. The real prototype names appearing in the movie and the actual history are all sourced from the internet. If there are any errors, please forgive us. If you want to see any specific movie, you can leave a comment below. Jack will reply to each one. The next movie discussed might be the one you comment on. If you like this, please like and share. Don't forget to follow us. See you next time. Goodbye.